Hello, everyone. Welcome to Oddbird Theatre in our little black box home where Shambhavi and I have been deciding for the last 1 hour how to define ourselves. Um, we host performances and innovative cultural experiences in this place that you see around us. And if you have a better way to describe us, please drop it in the comment section. We would be very excited to know what you have to say. Today, we are here with collaborators from
What, right now we're supposed to drop it?
from
Tell us a little about your curation process.
our curation process. Okay, for that information, please go on to our website. I'll give you the URL. But today, we are here with Akvarious collaborators, pre-pandemic collaborators, post-pandemic. They are celebrating a milestone, 25 years of running a theatre company. And they have been very kind to bring a little microfest here to Oddbird, some of which has happened last week, some of which is due this week, and in other places around the city. So congratulations are in order. Very well done.
Thank you.
And Shambhavi, Shambhavi and me, I wanted to sit down, just get in touch with what's it been like running a process, running a company, running your own selves and a family through a business, and get your thoughts and chat a little bit. So I'm going to let Shambhavi start with the questions. I think I've chatted enough.
Hi, Shambhavi.
Hi.
Hi.
So first things first, is it Akvarious or Aquarius?
No, you take it because you're well rehearsed in this explanation.
I mean, it starts with you though. So it is Akvarious in our heads. It has been called Aquarius.
I've been corrected many
It's
times.
been called Aquarius
Yes.
with a nukta also.
Yes.
Lots of stuff has happened. But Akvarious is actually a company name that Dad had come up with long before we started the theatre company, and he was, I think, setting up some screenwriting workshops and stuff, and he needed some nomenclature. So Akvarious was, so his reasoning, which I assume, which is what I have taken forward, is that the men in the family tend to have the initials AK, and
And the women in the
various-
family don't matter.
they are the various,
Okay.
and he's an Aquarian.
Yes, I
So
believe
I think
so.
Aquarius was part of that as well. I don't know if there was any other deeper.
No, but in the
meaning, so-
early days, it wasn't the three AKs.
Hmm.
The intention was my initials,
Hmm.
my sun sign, and the various activities in communication that I was handling, including workshops, story departments, and stuff like that. But then eventually it fell into place because AK happened to be their initials as well. And it fell into place nicely because there are these three activists with a K and doing various things, as you see. And they've been doing it for 25 years.
But it seems like no one actually started with theatre. I mean, a little bit of a Google search reveals that you have had a journey through an MBA, a PhD, corporate life, screenwriting. I don't think you studied, but
Sorry?
did you? I didn't find anything about your
That I'm not
college
educated.
life on
Okay.
online. You've been in forensic biology, and then you kind of came back into the fold. So, what has that journey been like? What was the trigger point to say, okay, we want to make this a theatre company?
I don't know. The company angle really emanates from him, and he'll tell you how he needed that name, the company name that he'll just tell you. As far as I'm concerned, I've been acting since the age of 4,
Hmm.
and I've been acting ever since. And whatever I did in tandem, I was doing theatre. So it became both nurture and nature for the legacy people. And then eventually he will tell you why Akvarious became Akvarious Productions. Go forth.
Yeah, I think no, like him. I think I was also acting on stage from a very young age, and I like doing it. I mean, I did a lot of theatre in school, and then I think college was a big one because all the inter-college festivals used to happen, and I was very involved in the contingents that were going from Xavier's. So, and I think that because I had done some theatre in school, it kind of came upon me to do theatre with the college contingent, and we got lucky in a couple of places and won big at Mood Indigo and Kaleidoscope and some festivals, and we were really enjoying that. But we were really just about 3 or 4 college friends who were doing it together, and then there is a youth theatre festival called Thespo, and Thespo was run by people from Xavier's who I had kind of. So 1 year had passed of Thespo, and the second year I met a couple of friends who I knew from school and college who said that there is this festival, and if you're under 25, you can put up a play, and it kind of gets screened. And if we like it, we go ahead, and we did it for fun. We were like, okay, this is good, we'll apply, and we went in really unprepared with a script that we liked, but they liked what they saw, more or less, and they said that we'd like you to. I mean, you've qualified, and I think that we were just very happy with that we were getting a platform to perform somewhere. And I think the night before or the day before the brochure was going in for printing, they called and said, "What's your company's name?" And we hadn't really thought of that. Like we didn't think that would be a requirement because we were making it up as we were going along. And then there was just like, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? And then I called him. And I think this is back in 2000. So yeah, from a PCO in college. I called and said, you had that company. Because I remember being very fascinated by his visiting card that he had made. And I really liked the name per se. I thought it was an intelligent name. And I was like, this is happening and I can't think of anything else. Can I use it? And he was like, yeah, use it. But we never knew that would become what we would get recognized by for the next 25 years. But it was just something very ad hoc. And I think it also kind of defines how we've done these 25 years. It's been mostly unplanned and in a state of panic. But yeah, so.
Why did you all choose to leave something conventional and come into something so gloriously uncertain and erratic, such as the life of theatre?
I think actually he never left things
So for
completely.
me, my journey, whatever you mentioned in terms of
Work,
profiling,
right?
and there's some more.
Do your research.
But everything was in tandem. It wasn't one for the other ever. It would be in smaller measures, but taking an annual kind of time frame, corporate, academia, everything else, screenwriting, acting, theatre, would be in tandem. And that is why I've been a jack of all. I mean, I haven't been, thank God for mediocrity, but I have not been able to excel. But I've done stuff, and I've done it all the time. So it wasn't that's another issue. I can never be a role model because they all assume that how did you have the courage to leave one thing for the other? Now that's a very dangerous kind of perception because people can ruin their lives. That hasn't been. So I'm not that correct kind of role model. These guys are closer because in a sense their switch was major, not so much Akash, because he's still writing for cinema. And these are more than hobbies, they are avocations that pay. But the forsaken angle is probably more as of now in his case, but then he's joined the bandwagon of a professional film person. So yeah, it's in different measure, but it's the same school. But I would probably say that I was not leaving anything for anything. Yeah.
No, I think mine is actually the flip. I got away from this because I think there was too much of it happening when I was growing up.
Okay.
So I think that's why I chose something like forensics also. I mean, again, it might have been from erratic to more erratic in a way, but I think it was kind of a conscious choice that growing up, like, and I think when I was growing up, like in the years that, like my formative years, I think he had gone more into the film side of things than more theatre. So I think Akarsh has always been the theatre baby, and that's why he got introduced to theatre a lot earlier. But I think at that time he was also doing his Malars and Thespo and all that, and I think I was around that a lot because I used to hang a lot with him. So I think there was a conscious thing of like I've seen enough of this world, and I don't think there was like necessarily trauma attached, but I think it was a fair amount of like it was a fair amount of like like being exposed to kind of cinema and theatre that perhaps I didn't really know what the hell was going on.
Okay.
Like, I mean, my early memories are very different in that sense, but I think it was just like because you kind of are the younger one wanting to do something different. So that's what happened, and I think, I mean, they were kind enough to say, go, what the hell is forensic biology, but go ahead and like do it. I think there was always a scientific inclination, and I think that also comes slightly from him. Because I think initially there was supposed to be, that time biotechnology was a fad, so I think that was kind of something that I was looking into, and then this popped up, and I think that was also like because of kind of the upbringing, and you're reading your Feludas and whatever the Sherlock Holmeses, and you're like, so there was like something about like, okay, maybe this will be more interesting. It is still under bioscience, but so that was actually like, yeah, I think it was kind of a effort to kind of get away from it, and not in a sense of because this was problematic or anything like that. I think it was just that I had kind of seen a fair amount of that, and perhaps, yeah, saturated might be the right word, but it was something to kind of like just do something different and create like an identity for yourself. But well, you're right.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it was interesting, and I think, yeah, again, it was, I think a lot of it was also down to situation in terms of things not panning out in that side of things,
Okay.
in that aspect of life, and yeah, then this happened, and it has been wonderful.
And I'm at an odd space right now. If it paid the bills, I'd leave everything else. I have always felt the need to and enjoyed wearing multiple hats, and it started, of course, with let's do a job so it can fund the theater. And that was what was working for a while, but it was foolhardy because, I mean, everything I was earning was going into this. And he sat me down and said, it's not a sustainable model. Like, I mean, because at the end of the day, it was a hobby that was turning into an expensive hobby.
Yes.
And it was like, you have to have a plan for this. And at that point in time, there was no plan for this. And I did get an education.
Both of them.
My father was very clear that if I wanted to follow any kind of creative pursuit, which was unconventional, I would have to at least be a postgraduate. So I did do my post graduation.
In what? Tell us also.
In advertising and marketing, and in film and television. And because I had done a marketing post graduation, when he questioned me saying that you've done this theatre company thing for 7 years and you're only losing money, I tried to be glib and say that, you know, the Kellogg's model was that they made loss for 7 years and then they and is bad language allowed on this podcast? Because he said, "Tu cornflakes hai kya chuti hai?" So I was like, fair, good point. I'm not a breakfast cereal, so I was like, okay, that, and then he was practical because he said that, like, set a target. Like, if you're 7 years down and you set a target, and if it doesn't sustain itself, you may have to take a hard call. And that became like a fire under my ass. And I was like, okay, I'm setting a 10-year target. I have 3 more years. And if this company doesn't start sustaining itself, I'll have to let go of it. But that was, I think, a very good, like, shift in the head, because then I think decisions started being a little bit more sensible and not just like do whatever the hell you artistically want. There was a sense of, okay, there are practical ramifications to this. You have to start looking at material that is more palatable, more accessible. You need to start understanding the business a little bit in terms of the networks that are available to you. You need to go and start looking at those theatre festivals that will pay you to come, and just start getting your finger in all of those pies. And by the 8th year, we were making money. It was actually just a perspective shift, and we were doing that. And touch wood, till COVID, we were in the green every year, breaking even, if not making profit.
Wow.
COVID onwards, it's been quite terrible.
Yeah.
Because things took quite a beating. But if it was actually paying all the bills, I'm right now at the stage where I enjoy the theatre life so much that I wouldn't do anything else. I haven't done it under compulsion. I've enjoyed making films very much. I've enjoyed making series. I've enjoyed doing other things but I don't think the kind of satisfaction creatively I get from doing theatre comes from anywhere else. But I don't know if economics allow it to just be that, as y'all are well aware. So, yeah.
So speaking of theatre life, what's an average day like in the Khurana household? Lots of scripts, debriefs. Do you guys argue about feedback, rehearsals?
Cornflakes, maybe. I don't
See,
know.
fortunately, is 3 different households.
So there's
it's-
multiple households.
No, yeah, no, last
Yeah.
So to each its own, whatever debate or point of view. And I think that we're very private. It's not a household thing. It's the individual doing stuff, various ways of planning, plotting, prepping, interacting.
I think it used to be though.
Hmm.
I think
It
we were
used
all,
to
when
be.
we were all living together,
Which was the
and I
catalyst for him
think
to
one
move
of the
on.
reasons he left was that also,
Oh, okay.
which was that work would come home a lot.
Hmm.
Because we would be kind of either working on things together or independently, but there would be a lot of conversations that were really about, the life in the theatre that would kind of come back home, and then that was what was discussed at dinner, and that was what was discussed afterwards. And I think that perhaps, I don't know how mom felt about it, because it would really be just that, and I think that there was also a bit of an overkill for him, because it was just stuff that was being, and sometimes that would come with the baggage of the work as well. I mean, though we've been mostly very good with each other in terms of maintaining a personal professional relationship, but there would be that, there would be something that happened at rehearsal that kind of came home. And I do think that moving into our own individual houses has really helped, because as a family, touch wood, we still see each other a lot more because we work together. So we are taking trips together because we work together, and it's really fortunate for us that we can kind of engage so much on a regular basis. I mean, how many other families meet at rehearsal?
Yeah.
But so that's been really good.
Do you have any stories to share from rehearsal, or any anecdotes where the interplay of family dynamics surprised you?
Oh, yeah, the interesting anecdotes are the kind of lines getting blurred where I'm playing we're a gay couple in a play,
Yeah.
and someone's playing his mother, who's the wife, and so forth.
So we were doing a spoof on Hitler, and he's playing Hitler, and I'm playing Heinrich Himmler. And the play starts with him painting me in the nude. So I'm just actually in my underwear
So
with a blanket across it. And like people are coming out of this like, how the hell are you doing that?
Yeah.
Like, isn't that weird? I was like, I mean, it's it's a
No, so
spoof about Hitler, man. Like,
the familial lines
have been, yeah, that's,
not blurred,
that's-
they're not there. He's directed me in a play that sort of takes on the subject of pedophilia. But purely professional, and when I
Yeah.
go on the floor, it's as an actor, he's my director. People ask me that. Same with him. I mean, so there are no anecdotes. It's just another job. Working together as collaborators, period. And I think, of course, it's there. But it's like friends. I like working with you.
Yeah.
So you're a friend.
Yeah.
They are friends. So it's a buddy story. The awareness of a familial, filial, whatever relationship is there. But it's a non-affectation kind of zone. अभी भी देखो मैं बोला है पॉडकास्ट पे आ गया it's just easy. The rules are assumed more than tick the boxes kind of rules. The value system.
Yeah, I think that awareness comes quite quickly, that you can't let the personal and the professional kind of blur over there, because there's also so many other factors at play. So I mean, like plays we've done where I'm playing his father and Dilshad's playing his mother-in-law, and I mean, Dilshad and I started seeing each other when she was playing my daughter on stage, which is not creepy at all. But I think that very soon, like, it becomes very clear that this is a space where you can't be overly sensitive, because the rules are the same for everybody. Like, it's not like, so you've got to, but you've got to be aware of that, like, in the sense that, like, if Dilshad or an Adhar have to be a little less sensitive about what's said to them by, say, me or him in a rehearsal space, I also have to be cognizant of the fact that because I know them and I'm comfortable, I'm not picking on them more. And that's perhaps what was happening when we were doing a play called Rafta Rafta together, where I was playing his father. But there was a lot of, and what really actually helped was him actually coming up to me at one point of time and saying that, you do tend to kind of pick on me because I'm your brother. And it becomes like sterner. And I was like, oh, okay. And like, my mother was a teacher in our school, and she used to punish us the hardest because she was setting an example. And I kind of realized that, okay, you're kind of falling into those patterns, and you need to not do that, and maybe keep it more. And I think the moment that switch happens, it's been really Yeah, I mean, I've directed him a lot, and I remember I was doing a play called Blackbird, the one about pedophilia, and it had him and Shanaz Patel in it, and both people that I mean, my seniors, I've looked up to them all my life, and I was shit scared on the first day of rehearsal. I was like, I'm doing a really serious play with these two actors who have taught me everything I know, and I'm going to rehearsal to go and like now what pretend to direct them, and how am I going to do that? And I think it was great. And this is of course a larger conversation about how their generation is so much better than ours and every generation after us, because they came in fully prepared as actors waiting to receive. They were like, we made this choice, we've done our homework, but now we're waiting for instruction. And they made me feel empowered enough to kind of say that this is what I'd like you to do, but also their level of preparation was so much that I had to do very little. You know, the thing is that and that just set it very like easy for me. I mean, I was just like, oh, okay, this is great, because then I'm not thinking about the baggage. Now I'm really being able to think about the craft, if at all. So I think that's been an interesting kind of finding a balance in all cases, wherever. And I mean, I've directed him in this time right now, which happened at Oddbird a few days ago, and I personally think it's one of his best performances. And he's got a massive fan following because of that play. And again, very little had to be done with him. You know, it was like a lot of it was taken care in the writing, and then he did his work. I mean, he was like, and that was a great sign of growth for me, that, you know, he's kind of putting in his time to try and make this character three-dimensional and doesn't need to be like handheld.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I think it's been quite a nice kind of process of understanding over the last.
No, and I also think that I think the it's not only that we are always. I think it also helps to kind of, even within the theatre company, if we are working with other people, I think that also always helps, because I don't think we've gotten, like, of course we are comfortable with each other in terms of being around each other and working together, but I don't think we are becoming so comfortable that we are not challenging each other. I think that's also important, that we keep challenging each other in a way that, like, so like when he comes and tells me I want you to play I mean, like, my first thing was like, okay, fuck, this is like a big deal and it's an important part and I have a lot of lines and whatever, but for me that was important, because then I'm like, he's making me challenge myself and he's pushing me, and I think for him also it's going to be challenging to kind of see if I can pull this off. So because I mean, it's a part that which is very away from my, I mean, yes, of course there are shades of me in it, but I'm playing like a brooding romantic in that. So like, it's like so I was just like, for him to see that, and then how everyone is just like kind of reacted to that. Even I didn't have that much confidence in myself to kind of be like, okay, this is going to work. But when opening shows happened or whatever, then I was like, okay, now I see what the guy was saying. And of course, the good thing with Akarsh is that he writes for you. Like, he, as an actor also, like, it's very interesting because he knows your strengths. And this is not only the family, I think it's every person we work with. I think he knows your rhythm, he knows your meter, so he knows that you'll be able to land this punch. You know, so I think the way he writes also is very, that's actually really easy for an actor. And I think that's also, I mean, then you also feel like, okay, let's not be lazy about it. This guy is doing as much as he can to kind of make you like feel at home and kind of be able to pull off something that is challenging.
Yeah.
But I think that's also been good, because I think that evolution has also come with us kind of pushing each other a little more, saying like, let's do this, let's go a little more ahead and like kind of, kind of push ourselves and let our work also evolve while working with each other. So yeah, it's been good.
In this,
Sorry, I had a thought and I was wondering, especially because you mentioned being the Balaji of theatre just now.
Yeah. Shit.
Well,
No,
no.
it soon
Nothing.
became YRF.
I don't even know that. Okay, never mind.
Noted. But Akvarious is known for running multiple productions and,
Yes.
all the time. I've always wondered how do you make sure that each production running at the same time with everything else is top notch in quality? How do you maintain that? What's the process like for all of you to maintain that quality of production?
That's for you.
I mean, there must be something. It can't be silence.
This is a tough one. Okay, I think a lot has changed over the years with us in terms of understanding our strengths and our weaknesses. I do believe that there was a time where, when we were say 6 or 7 years into it, and then suddenly opportunities started opening up for us. And I think for a young theatre group, no opportunity can be said no to, because there was just like, if Prithvi is offering you a date, do whatever the hell you can. And if a festival is asking you to premiere a play, it doesn't matter if you've got 60 days, but just put up something, because these are opportunities that you have to cash in on. I do think that with a lot of them we got lucky, because stuff worked out well. But I do think that we also landed up, say around year 10, 11, 12 maybe, started spreading ourselves a little too thin, because we were just like we were not saying no, and we were trying to put lots of stuff up. And I think we were fortunate that we were working with a great bunch of people. And so it was all above average content in that sense. But I also feel like we didn't necessarily have the logistics or the infrastructure or the bandwidth to grow each one of them as well as we would have liked to. And we enjoyed this little golden period that happened, and it was a very important period for us to make our presence felt. But it did start taking a toll on the quality, because then, slip-ups were happening. There was stuff where it was like you're micromanaging as much as you could, but then there would be some really shit production that would show up, and then that would actually deter, or it would be a complete backfire in terms of some relationships. I mean, there are still a couple of festivals that will never have us again, because something went unchecked, and it was, to be quite honest, terrible.
Yeah.
And I think that was a bit of a wake-up call that, okay, maybe that kind of, you can't become a magnate or a studio that soon. You've got to kind of build it the ground up a little bit. So then there was a conscious streamlining, and there was a conscious kind of slowing down, and weirdly it coincided with consciously depending a little bit more on the family, and not so much kind of diversifying, which was something that was very good about us. And we are back to diversifying, but we're doing it the right way. So I think we fell back on the pillars,
Which are?
the family. It was really the people that we trusted the most. That I knew that, whatever he does will certainly bring a certain kind of, quality and respect to it. Whatever I do will at least help find the voice that this company is trying to find. Whatever he would do at that point of time, because he's actually been a massive influence in bringing the youth into the theatre for Akvarious. It was a stuffed shirt, stiff upper lip, jhola kurta, ideological nonsense. People didn't want to kind of be lectured at night before dinner, or be, made to feel inferior because they didn't understand what was going on stage, which is a lot of theatre even now.
Yes.
But I think one very interesting thing was that when he had broken away from the family and he had kind of, family business, and come back to watch a couple of our shows when he was studying in Glasgow, I remember very clearly coming backstage to me after one show and saying, WTF, mate. Like, what did I just watch, and why did I bring my girlfriend to see this? Because now my relationship's on the rocks. Because she thinks this is what my family does. Like, it just traumatizes people after taking their money. And I think that there was that little bit of a sense of accessibility, because Adar came with a generation that he said would never watch anything we did. He was like, my friends are never going to understand this, And at that point in time, that was a big moment where I said, okay, then why don't you define what they will? And he started working on material, with our help, of course, or we kind of recalibrated to do that. And he brought a lot of the youth in, where it suddenly became accessible and relatable, and it still remains to this day, touch wood.
Yeah.
But I think that we fell back on the people we trust the most, which was family. And then once we kind of found our feet again, it was like, okay, now we can trust these people to kind of take things forward. And it was a little bit, how you like to control stuff as a curator, almost to an artsy level. And then some people break through your defenses like us. I think that's kind of what we did. That,
That's the
we tried to... we opened the iron fist really slowly through people who broke through our defenses. But yeah, it was so, to answer your question, there was big learnings, a massive recalibration, and a stronger understanding that it can't be ad hoc and like a mom and pop store anymore. We need an infrastructure. We need employees. We need an outlay. Now we have a producer. So Satvika Kantamneni is somebody who's been working with us for now 6 years. She's a fantastic producer with a formal education, which helps immensely. I mean, she's actually like whipped us into shape in terms of being able to
Literally.
run, a company. And if it could be something as simple as making a go down inventory,
Yeah.
that that we need this, and you're not just buying stuff. And it's tough. I mean, there are people who still take time to look at the go down inventory, but it exists for a reason, and slowly we'll convert everybody.
Yeah.
And now we have a social media manager,
Yes.
and that's been an immense help in our 25th year in particular, because the kind of content we are creating and the engagement, it's just, so it became a realization that this can't be done alone.
Yeah.
And it became a realization that it can't just be done via friendship. We'll have to bring on resources that we will pay and that we will cultivate, who will then do it out of love, but as a job. It has to be done with somebody who's got a target to meet, and therefore you'll be able to run multiple productions. And we are here right now doing this while Satvika is traveling the country with a play we've brought down, which is a Palestinian play that we have brought down from Norway, which for us has been a big first, but it would never have happened if we hadn't got our shit together. And now that's possible, and we are actually not losing any sleep over the fact that Satvika is not here or I'm not there.
And I think that I think like delegations also played a big like I think there was also a phase where I think it was just we will do everything ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a kind of, and I think that however much that feels correct and that feels right in terms of just
Yes.
doing that, because sometimes I think you also have faith in yourself the most, and especially in a bit. But I think that has to happen if you need to have growth. Otherwise, there's no way that one person, and especially now that we're all getting older, like Akarsh can't be handling everything, and you need that delegation. And I think that's also like with him especially, I think like it's the biggest evolution is the fact that he's now being able to delegate.
Yeah, I learned the hard way.
He
It was
learned
very-
like
it was
because
very
otherwise
tough
it was
for me.
always him taking all the burden and all the load of everything. So I think that's actually, and I think again, of course, it comes from having people you can trust. Like it's not like, I think the people that who are now part of Akvarious are people we have faith in, and we can depend on, and that Satvika can go and run an international show for us in different parts of the country. But
Yeah, and everyone's got empowered and doing much better now.
Yeah.
I mean, like there was a time when I would not miss a single setup, but it was just taking its toll on me. I didn't really need to be there to kind of put the setup, And now it can happen. Now there is a great liberation in showing up a little later
yeah,
and kind of knowing that everything is under control.
Yeah.
And that in the last 3 years has been a huge improvement, I think, in just the quality of our lives. And it's also therefore allowed us the bandwidth to make sure that there's quality control.
Yeah.
And therefore I can be more involved in the creative process and not worry so much about all the other stuff, which actually just takes up a lot of your brain space. But it's just that, okay, I know that my systems are in place. I know it'll be flagged when there's a crisis, but I can actually focus on the content. I can actually make sure that it's being done in the best manner possible. So,
and I think the moment you're giving more responsibility to people also, I think there's more at stake. I think that also helps.
Yeah.
And I think there used to be a time where it used to feel like we are the only people on this, on this whatever, on this journey. But now, like the community is so amazing now, like especially like, I mean, of course, because we are Bombay based, it's amazing that you actually talk to people who like the love and the passion and what's at stake is as much as it is for you. Like you initially, I think there was a kind of close-mindedness about that कि ये सिर्फ हमारे लिए है कि मतलब this is only we see it this way. But like I think now, because I think a lot of it is also down to, I mean, yes, of course, dad's generation of thespians are very different, and of course the hard work and the talent is outstanding. But I think what's happened with the Akarsh's generation of theatre practitioners is, I think there's a sense of camaraderie and there's collaboration and there's bonhomie, and I think that is kind of helped open up the world of theatre much more. Like I think that's, for us at least personally, I think that's also really good, because now you see it's not like they're not like-minded people. You are finding those people almost at every corner now. So I think that's also actually really lovely to see in the last 5 years or whatever, last decade, in that sense, to kind of, and I think that's why even delegating, giving responsibility also helps, because now you need to, like, sometimes you need to take the shot, like how you had taken a punt that many years to start a theatre company. Now you need to take punt, like it's the people that make it at the end of the day. So I think that's also been a massive learning for us, in the sense of now we need to, like, even if there are mess ups and we have to have faith. Like there has to be, like, and I think theatre is all about faith at the end of the day. So
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
yeah.
Through all the evolution and changes, what would you say remain the sacred defining characteristics of an Akvarious?
His vision.
I was saying you answer. You answer. Like, yeah. So because you,
No, I've answered. His vision.
So tell us a little bit more about your vision in terms of what makes it in, what makes it out. How do you decide this should be an Akvarious production? This is something I should pursue independently. This is something I won't touch.
I do feel also, having said that, it's not a spreadsheet vision. It's an intuitive vision. And that comes from the roller coasters, the trials and the tribulations, and this journey that he just mentioned about quality and delegation. But at the end of the day, your passion comes from what you truly believe in product, styles, people. And typically that makes the cookie crumble. And that's been it. So I'm saying, again, one man's vision cannot be emulated. Like, I want to be like Akash is my role model because of his vision. It won't happen because the DNA is different. Like Boys from the Brazil, 99 clothes of Hitler, and it didn't happen because you're in nature nurture again. It's independence and the intuition that goes with the person you are. And that's the unifying force in everything. Whether it's a nebulous body or an organism or a organization or even an independent studio, it's that one single vision that just leads into, in business parlance, strategy, tactic, and your to-do list.
I think, I mean, yeah, I don't think that we can put a like a any kind of formula down in terms of what makes the cut. I mean, I think that it's always been. I'm obsessed with working with good people, and some of them are less talented, and that's a price I'm willing to pay.
Okay.
Because I left a corporate job to do this so that it didn't feel like work.
Okay.
I wanted to be able to wake up and want to go where I have to go rather than have to go where I have to go. And I think that that's defined by the atmosphere created in that space. If there are people that I like to be with, then that's always been the main criteria. I think if I was to distill it down to anything, it was really that. It was that I want to put together groups of people that I enjoy spending time with. And you make mistakes in your choices and you learn about people over time. But I think that the driving force really has just always been good people. And in terms of the stories that we tell, we've told a very wide genre of stories. And I think that it's sad sometimes that we kind of get, pigeonholed into a particular kind of accessible, funny with a message kind of thing. Because, I mean, Adar mentions we did a play called There's Something in the Water, which was Enemy of the People in Ibsen's adaptation. And we had people from our own fraternity coming and said, oh, Akarsh is finally getting political. And I was like, 10 years before that, I was doing plays that were political, but they were comedies and you didn't get it. But I mean, like, Adar directed a play called Bombed, which was about Islamophobia. It was about a Marathi cop trying to get a Muslim, no good kind of stoner guy into a mosque to infiltrate it. But it just played out like a comedy, and but it was about a lot of things. It was about Islamophobia. It was about loving or getting to know your neighbors. It was about just like feeling safe in your own environment. And so there's been a lot of statements and agenda in a lot of the work, but we've not kind of shoved it down your throat. And maybe there's something in the water happened because I was like, that I at that point of time, maybe I felt like I wanted to make a stronger, more direct on the nose point. And it's probably the reason I shut it down, because I was like, I've made an on the nose point, but that's not me. I've done it, but I don't want to be that guy. I'd rather that, people were also entertained. And so stories that kind of are engaging and entertaining, but maybe leave you with a little something to think about, has always been a larger kind of idea. But
yeah, I think we own that. I think that's, I mean, even if that and a lot of times it comes with a loaded negative connotation, but I think like what Akarsh is also saying, I think for me, like similar, but I think it's just like, I feel like what we are creating now, I want every person to feel joy out of it. I mean, it might be very idealistic and very broad based, but whether it's an audience member or whether it's us doing it together and creating it, I think just let's fucking be happy, man. Like, let's just
Yeah,
give
or
them
I mean,
joy.
I'd
And even if
expand
there's a
it.
message, yes, 100%.
I'd expand it from joy to relatability.
Yeah,
because
sure.
I'm not averse to doing like a play that doesn't make you happy.
Okay.
Ask
But
me.
but like but you know, I think that by
Sorry.
default we'll end up doing that. I mean, Dad,
Yeah.
the last play Dad did, The Tragedy of Hammerclear,
Hmm.
which is a little hat tip to Shakespeare,
Hmm.
which has been important to all theatre people.
Hmm.
But he's done a deep dive on that, and it is a bit esoteric in its design. But what's happened is that because it's also about, you know, aging and mental health,
Hmm.
I think it found a very strong connect with that.
Hmm.
It stopped being about Shakespeare,
Hmm.
but it started being more about Alzheimer's and mental health, and we were having
Dementia.
talks, and people were you know, bawling their eyes out and saying that this is what my mother is like at home, and this is what my, you know, and I think that connect was important. It's not a feel good play. I don't think, you know, you go out and laugh and eat pizza after that, but yeah,
There's
know,
another
so
which is also currently happening now,
Hmm.
part of the Microfest.
the F word.
Yeah.
But the
Yes.
F word, some people in Delhi said we went to Bengali market and chatted about death over chart. So I think that's still a
Whatever
that's,
it takes.
that's still sitcomish
Yeah,
perhaps.
like-
But
Ah,
So,
well,
yeah,
I
okay.
wept.
Tears at
of course you wept, but that also
You-
speaks
I
more
wept
about
enough
who
for
you
the
are.
whole
So,
row. There were two people with me who
Where
said,
did
"Itna
you
ro
watch
rahi
it?
but
hai."
that speaks about who
Ki
you
dekhne
are,
ki
Shambhavi.
zarurat
So,
nahi hai.
where did you watch it?
LTG.
yeah, she saw it during
Oh, the
the
Adyam.
Adyam
Oh.
show.
She wept so much that she didn't let Anne cry because Anne said only one person can cry.
So no, I think that there's like, and I really like that. So he chose to do a play which, you know, on paper felt not accessible,
Hmm.
and then when it happened, it became accessible for different reasons. You know, or the last play I've done is on paper a very accessible commercial musical, but what people took home from it was a little bit of the agenda that it had. That, oh, okay, you're trying to make a serious point in all the song and dance. So I really like that there's a layer of something, you know, that's happening. Adar wanted to, his last play is actually a play which strangely not enough people have done, where he's done a play which is set in the world of sport.
Hmm.
You know, it's play set in
Tiki-taka.
football, yeah, and football is important to him, but again, it's a human story set in football. People are not taking football away from it.
Hmm.
They might be coming from the football, but they're actually taking away a story of brothers.
Hmm.
And where he gets that from, I don't know. But the point is that I think that there's been a very conscious decision to kind of explore all kinds of genres, but kind of connect. It's really about that. I don't think we will ever produce a play that is abstract for being abstract's sake.
Yeah.
I don't think we will ever produce a play that doesn't have an understandable narrative. There will be a beginning, middle, and end. I do believe that we've all chosen a life of storytellers. So let's tell a story.
Yeah.
You know, if I just want people to pay money and come in for some sort of sensory experience, which they leave confused about, there are other people doing it better. And maybe I have no problem with it, but I'm not equipped to do it. And therefore I might not be the one putting money into it. Because I do feel that we also offer a service. It's been very hard to bring audiences into the theatre.
Yep.
But when you bring them into the theatre, then it should be worth their time and it should be worth their while. And I think, again, I keep saying this in a lot of interviews that happened, that when, you know, we started doing the more youth-centric theatre, it almost went from being this intellectual outing to an alternative for a date night. So you don't want to traumatize people at all points of time, or, you know, just leave them flummoxed. You do want to kind of give them something to, you know, engage with. So I think it's broad. I don't think that there's really any kind of, so I don't know what the vision is. And like he very correctly said, it's really just purely instinct. I mean, like, we're doing a play here called Sissy, which is written by a 22-year-old girl who was my assistant on a play I was directing. And she was shy of showing me a script that she had written, but I heard from other people that there is something I should take a look at, and I asked her why she wasn't showing it to me. And it's a strange play, but I liked that there was a 22-year-old who had a unique voice. It felt very different from the other 22-year-olds who are mostly annoying and self-obsessed.
There's a couple in this room right now.
Sure. And I hope that they are not the cliche. But it just felt nice that there was someone who had something to say that was a little bit more, you know, intelligent than stuff I can learn on Instagram. So I was like, let's take a chance. And I don't know what that play will do. Our sales here tomorrow are really bad, but our sales in Bombay have been okay. And I think it pleasantly surprised some people. He came and watched it and thought that it was really mature writing, and I was like, okay, took a punt on something that kind of paid off. So yeah, I think it's just very much like what feels right, and I don't think that you can bottle that. So yeah.
Do you feel like audiences have changed in terms of what they're more receptive to, and or audiences from the different parts that you take your work to? Do you find that some things,
I
some
mean,
people
he's
are...
had a larger view of that because he's had so much more experience. So
Uh, Actually, only the population has increased. And hence, in terms of absolutes, the numbers look larger. But in terms of the intelligentsia, the commercial, it's a wide universe. And I do believe that today any kind of broadcast can be customized to what is known as narrowcasting. And you can actually customize for an audience of one. So Sissy is clearly for that handful. But everyone, I mean, there are niches and niches, and there's something for everybody. And to that sense, it's become far more diverse because of social media, the kind of slight increase in literacy amongst the younger lot. Uh, they know more, they sense more, they understand more, and hence they have different points of view. And they're, as individuals, uh, we might not agree on a lot of things, but your niches will be there in terms of मेरे को तो अच्छा लगा. So it's been like that. But in terms of evolution, I mean, it's brilliant stories were told 2000 years ago over a bonfire, and theatre's been dying ever since.
So, so what do the next 25 years look like?
I'm writing currently something about a ghost story.
Okay.
So probably for me, that answer is that when you're a ghost, I don't know what happens 25 years later. Well, in spirit, pun intended, I'll be there.
Nice.
I think for the first time ever, because we've kind of done this 25-year milestone, it didn't really feel like a milestone till people started talking about it.
Didn't you
Like-
start talking about it?
When people started talking to me about it,
Okay.
I mean, I knew it as a number.
Huh.
We had done a 15-year kind of celebration. 20 happened during COVID. 25 felt like a biggish deal. But it was business as usual. It was just like, for me, it became just like, let's do more. Let's do more shows. Let's be out there a little bit more. Then people started talking about the magnitude of 25 years because there are people who now work for us who weren't born when we began. And I think that was a big one because I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
wow, like I depend on this person to do a job for me, and he or she wasn't born when
Right.
So I think that started feeling like, oh, it's been quite a journey. I think it still hasn't sunk in completely, and perhaps I'm trying to keep myself as busy as possible so that it doesn't, because I don't necessarily like to kind of get into the whole reminiscing and it's okay. It's something that happened, and we've kind of it's good that we've kind of made these friends along. But I think that because he started realizing that 25 felt like a milestone, because it's 90 productions and 25 years and a whole lot of people who've come and gone. I think it's perhaps for the first time that we sat down and actually thought of a 5-year plan. We've never really thought of that. We never thought that what do we do in the next 5 years. And I think that Satvika and me and Adhar and Dilshad I think that it's very broad. I think that I think we've achieved a fair amount here in terms of doing the theatre that we do. And I think that the next 5 years need to kind of feel slightly different, because I mean, what will top a year where you're doing 200 shows, which is this year?
Yeah.
I mean, the exhaustion levels are really high, but
Yeah.
but I'm saying that what else can you achieve if you actually pulled that off
Yeah.
over here? And I think that it's kind of like a 3 or 4 pronged approach that we want over the next 5 years. I think that one thing certainly is, and this happened with this Palestinian play that came down and stuff that Dad's creating and stuff that conversations we've been having. We really do want over the next 5 years to have a slightly more international presence, or a collaboration with international bodies, so that either we kind of we're expanding it a little bit, because we're so our work going out there, which now is more and more possible because of the opportunities that are aware, or stuff like what just happened, which we never thought we could pull off. So that's one larger idea that we want to do. In a more domestic space, we have 305 Galli Mantola happening here day after. So we've actually done a proper Hindi play after really long. And I do believe that the markets that we've let go of, because back in the day when we were doing plays like Namak Mirchan Afsane, the Hindi belt was something that we had a big presence in. We don't anymore because we are mostly English. So I want to kind of go back into that.
Okay.
So whether it's the Jabalpurs or the Bhopals or the Bareillis where we used to be a part of it and now are not, I want to use this and perhaps another Hindi play that we will develop to kind of spread into those markets a little bit. The third, which is a dream that Aadhar is taking forward and is so close to your heart, is having a space of our
It's
own.
kind of, yeah. It's
Are you
fun.
sure about this,
It's
guys?
kind of funny that we are sitting right here and after all
Someone
the
dropped their
conversation-
phone.
after all the conversations. that
You know, the
we
thing
had.
is, I think you and I met when I was curating the Cuckoo Club. Cuckoo, Oddbird, all of that. You know, the serendipity of all the aviary shit.
Yes.
But those 5 years that I curated Cuckoo Club was a really great time. And I think we made a lot of our relationships then. And I think that we kind of enabled a lot of people to kind of be able to do work. And also rehearsed all our work over there. In fact, our longest running production, Dekh Behan, was built there. And I think that site-specific work is also something that's really interesting when you're doing it. For the last year, he's been actively trying to kind of figure out a sustainable model. Where,
Let me know when you figure it out.
Yeah.
But
I'm having subtle conversations with you on the side. Right? Why do you think now?
but you know, back in the day, there was a time when we had a go down where we used to rehearse, and it also used to end up being a very practical thing in terms of cost.
Yeah.
Because you're paying rent,
Yeah.
and then you're paying really expensive rates for rehearsal.
Yeah.
But if you can kind of find all of that under one roof,
Yeah.
it does actually balance out.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
You know, so it's something that we are actively looking at. It will need a certain amount of capital that we do not now have after this year. So it is definitely a 5-year plan. So that's another thing that we've been kind of wanting to like find a space of our own that can then lead to a lot more conversations in terms of all the stuff that we would like to kind of do. And I think that we are all kind of moving into another phase of our lives. So I mean, I know that Dad has also slowly been moving more into a slightly more wanting to impart his knowledge, you know, slightly more academic, slightly more workshop oriented, you know, to kind of maybe build a community or upskill a community. And I think that space would kind of offer that. I am in a space where I'm very happy to have conversations and much like you're doing here in your space right now. Aadhar is in a space I think where he wants to experiment with stuff. You know, and see what works and what doesn't without like the stakes being higher than they need to be. So I think that that's another part of the 5-year plan that we want to kind of maybe figure out a roof over our heads where we can kind of decide the 5 years after that. Yeah.
Godspeed to that.
Thank
And
you.
I think that brings us to the end of our filmed conversation. There will be much more that unfolds over today and Wednesday and Thursday, hopefully. But I wanted to thank all of you for sitting down with us today. This was such a pleasure to sit in on.
Thank you.
And you kept it together.
Thank
did.
you. Thank
Look at
you.
you. Yeah.
But thank you very, very much. Here's to the next 5 years, 20 more after that, and many, many more after that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You kept your straight face and he kept his jacket on.
Nice.